The Hunter x Hunter effect is just some arbitrary term I've decided to use that compares the events of Hunter x Hunter to that of World Trigger. Not just the contents of the two mangas, but the mangakas also. Hi, I'm Doa. I'm a fan of both of these anime, and I am almost caught up with each manga. So if you are in the same boat as me, you can probably see the similarities that I'm about to draw between the two. There will be spoilers for each anime here, so be cautious. In order to begin our comparison, we must start with the writers themselves. World Trigger is a manga written by Daisuke Ashihara that began its publication in Shonen Jump in 2013. However, due to the downward trend in the author's health in 2016, it was put on hiatus, and it stayed on hiatus for 2 years before coming back. Sound familiar? And it was only back to a weekly schedule for a singular month before going from weekly to monthly, with a break once again earlier this year because of Ashihara's health. But the Hunter x Hunter manga and the World Trigger manga have more in common than just the shared unfortunate well-being of their author. Their story goals match up quite well, and both seem to be at the same point in their journeys. A big thing set up in the Hunter x Hunter verse and also heavily praised for is the introduction of the Dark Continent. I'm sure you've seen this image before, or this one. We learn that the events of Hunter x Hunter take place within a very small subsection of the world, and the threats faced up until now have paled in comparison to what awaits them on the Dark Continent. Even the Chimera Ants, creatures so strong that even Netero, easily top 5 nin-using human shown in the anime, couldn't take down their king, who also hail from the Dark Continent, and even then, they are not one of the top threats. What does Hunter x Hunter and the Dark Continent have to do with World Trigger? Well, within World Trigger there exists what is called the Neighborhood, an alternate dimension that houses many planets, each having their own autonomy, with many locked in war over the limited resources of Tryon. The entire plot of the show revolves around nations from this neighborhood coming to Earth to abduct humans and use their Tryon as an energy source. Within the current arc of World Trigger, many prominent characters are taking a test in order to qualify for a mission into this alternate dimension, where they will have to survive for however long it takes for them to achieve their goal set in the show. While it isn't necessarily the boat arc and nothing that crazy is going down on the test, you can easily make the comparison given each of their destinations, both being a dangerous, mysterious-filled place for our characters to overcome. While the neighborhood doesn't seem as dangerous as the Dark Continent, and it probably isn't, a lot of World Trigger watchers subscribe to the belief, speaking of subscribe, we're almost at 1,000 of them, that we already know pretty much the threat level of the neighborhood, as high A ranks have gone and made it back pretty safely, as well as seeing the quote-unquote strongest military power in action in After Crater. But what many forget is the event that led to Yuma's near death, and the state he is in right now. We know absolutely nothing about this being outside of the fact that it nearly killed Yuma. I hope it is a part of a greater threat and mystery that will unfold once we reach the away mission. This mission is also going to be the longest and most dangerous one yet, as the others were meant mostly for mapping and scouting. Now, they will be directly involved in conflict and be without the safety net of the bailout feature tied directly to border headquarters. Instead, it will be tied to their expedition ship, which is much easier to take control of, as the compromise of the bailout's coordinates is so far the only way to counter the trigger directly besides black triggers. The anime World Trigger isn't short either. Most of it is spent building up many, and I mean many different characters and fleshing out the world's power system to get the verse fully set up before delving into this alternate dimension. Up until recently in the manga, the majority of the story has been one big tournament arc that has served not only as an introduction to almost every character we need to know within the story, but also to train up our MC and a squad, all building up to this away mission. World Trigger is nowhere near as popular as Hunter x Hunter, nor is the Neighborhood arc hyped as much as the Dark Continent arc, but I still would like to see each completed. It is a shame that many manga artists are worked into unwellness either by their own grind or by tight publication dates. These stories are both just beginning and opening up to an even grander world, but to what end? I just wanted to shine a light on World Trigger's current situation as it heavily mirrors that of Hunter x Hunter's, but is known by a much smaller audience.